I survived LASIK. They turned me into a zombie. Kind of scary. Well, I got a lollipop out of the deal. I'm a little loopy on Valium right now, so better living through chemistry.
So you remember those ugly blue glasses I used to always wear? Well, they're gone, and it is such a relief. 2 months ago, I got laser eye surgery, and in this vlog, I'm gonna share with you why I got the procedure done, what it was like, and my results. But before we dive into that, check out this elk shed I recently found. So this measurement right here, between my pinky and my thumb, 8.5 inches. So this thing's like 18.5 inch third. Huge, it's a giant third. All right, let's dive into the vlog. I've been wearing glasses basically the last 18 years of my life. My prescription was pretty mild. I wasn't blind without my glasses. I could see decently for sure. I could drive, I could do all the things without my glasses. But when I was hunting, especially, I would just lose all that fine detail, and I really wanted to fix that. I did try contacts a few times. Problem with contacts, you know, if you're spending multiple nights in a tent, you have to swap out your contacts every single night. You can get a bunch of dirt in your eye, your contact solution could freeze, etc. They just weren't a great solution. First off, why did I get LASIK? So really, when it all boils down to it, the reason I got LASIK was so that I would be less dependent on my glasses. As most of you know, I work as a photographer and content creator in the outdoor and hunting space, and I spend a ton of time outside. And when you have glasses, that means they fog up when you hike, when you're in wet, humid conditions. I'm often putting my eye up to the viewfinder on the camera, and then they get a big smudge on them. They're just annoying. And I just wanted to get rid of that and not have that and not have to worry about putting my glasses in a case and always have to bring 2 pair of glasses on every hunt with me. Also, my last pair of glasses had this blue tint to them, and that blue tint was supposed to help with UV light coming off my computer and impacting my eyes. The problem is when I was out in the field, and I had this happen on a couple hunts, can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure that blue tint actually was like a giant blue glare, and I spooked a couple animals that should not have been spooked, and I'm pretty sure it was because of the blue glasses. So, had to get rid of those things. So all that said, I decided to go get a laser eye surgery consultation, which they basically just did a bunch of measurements on my eyes and ran me through a bunch of tests to make sure that I was a good candidate for LASIK. Turns out I was. And I scheduled my laser eye surgery appointment for January 20th, 2022, and it was pretty exciting. So next up is all about the procedure. So the procedure was, it was actually pretty simple. It was a little nerve-wracking though. When I went in, they offered me a Valium, which I read up online. I was like, yeah, I should probably take it. Not really any side effects of Valium other than it makes you a little loopy and just like totally knocks down any nerves that you might have. And so took the Valium, and they did a bunch of prep work on my eyes, basically just putting eye drops in a bunch of times, cleaning them out. And then they put numbing drops in. Then I went into this room and I laid down on a big padded chair. They gave me stress balls, which was a little nerve-wracking. There's the doctor in there, and there's a nurse or two. They're talking to me. They were super casual. Like it was really simple, really easy going. So the first step was they made a flap on my eye, and to do that, they first off put a thing on your eyeball that does this and prevents you from blinking. It's a little sketchy, but you can't feel a thing because you're totally numb. So it's all good. Next thing they do is they put this like suction cup thing on your eyeball. That's what it felt like anyway. And the doctor said, hey, you're gonna feel a lot of pressure. Pressure is gonna build, and then you're gonna go gray. Like you're kind of gonna black out in that eye. And I'm like, okay, great. So pressure builds. And then I think the pressure released, and then all of a sudden I can't see anything, and the world is kind of blacking out in that one eye. It was a little creepy, but not too bad. That lasted for probably 20 seconds, and then they pull that off and they go to your other eye, do the same thing to your other eye, and then I was basically blind as a bat until the next step. And the next step was the laser. So they positioned the laser. The thing is totally automated. It was really like almost impossible to make an error unless like I were to like jump up and move. This laser goes bzz, 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 and then they pull the flap down. Again, I can't feel any of this. All of a sudden, I can start to see again. I do that to both eyes, then I'm done. The whole process maybe took 5 to 7 minutes per eye. Pretty dang slick. And then, yeah, then they sent me home. They sent me home with a bunch of eye drops. My fiance, Karen, took me home, and basically right when I got home, the painkillers or the eye drops started to wear off and the Valium started to wear off. Things started to hurt pretty good. So my eyes became really sensitive to light. Like at one point, I think I had 4 pairs of sunglasses on. It was just brutal. My eyes are just gushing water. I went and I just like got into the closet and like made sure there was no light coming in, and I just kind of suffered there in agony for probably like 20 or 30 minutes. And then after that, pain kind of went away and all was good. And that night, like I was already seeing better than I've ever been able to see before. So go to bed, next morning, wake up, I'm like, holy crap, I can see pretty dang well. Go in, do a follow-up appointment, I test my eyes, make sure everything looks good, everything looked great. I was seeing 20/15 out of both eyes in one day. Also, I'm shed hunting right now and just found a shed. And 1 week later, had a second follow-up appointment. And at that follow-up appointment, I was seeing 20/15 out of both eyes as well. And then a month later, third follow-up appointment, also seeing 20/15 out of both eyes. And at that appointment, they did a little more vision tests, and they found that my right eye it wasn't healing quite perfectly. And so they had me do a round of like steroid type drops in that eye for 6 weeks. And which brings us to this time period right now. I can see pretty dang well out of both eyes. I kind of think maybe I could see a little bit better when I was wearing glasses. I mean, I can see as well as anyone. When I'm out shed hunting especially, I feel like I might just be scanning the ground a little bit longer than I used to be. Or maybe I'm just being more diligent, not really sure. But yeah, like overall, pretty dang happy. I mean, I haven't even thought about my glasses. Obviously, I still wear sunglasses quite a lot every time it's bright out. In lower light, or if there's clouds in the sky, like don't have to wear sunglasses, don't have to wear glasses, don't have to worry about fogging up. It's been about 3 months, and I'm pretty stoked. I spent a lot of money on it, but I'm pretty stoked. So one side effect I did have from LASIK, and this is pretty much a side effect everybody gets, is you get really bad halos around lights, primarily in like dim lighting conditions. So for example, when there was an oncoming car, when I was driving at night, I had this like big ring around the lights, and my eyes were like really sensitive to that oncoming light. But after about 2 months, those halos went away and everything feels fine. All right, that is a wrap on this vlog. I just want to keep things short and simple and talk about my LASIK procedure, what it was like for me. And if anyone has any questions on LASIK, if they're considering it for themselves and they have questions, hit me up in the comments below. All right, we'll see you next time.